Good morning, students. Let's begin our social science class. Chapter The French Revolution. Today, we often take the ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity for granted, but we need to remind ourselves that these ideas also have a history. By looking at the French Revolution, we will read a small part of that history. The French Revolution led to the end of king rule in France. A society based on privileges gave way to a new system of governance. The chapter begins with one event, storming of Bastille. 14 July 1789, the beginning of a chain of events. On the morning of 14 July 1789, the city of Paris was in a state of alarm. The king had commanded troops to move into city. Rumors spread that the king would soon order to army to open fire upon the citizens. Revolutionaries broke into a number of government buildings in search of arms. At last, a group of several hundred people marched towards the eastern part of the city and stormed the fortress prison, the Bastille, where they hoped to find hoarded ammunitions. In the armed fight that followed, the commander of Bastille was killed and the prisoners released. The day witnessed more rioting both in Paris and the countryside. Most people were protesting against the high price of bread. Actually, it was the beginning of a chain of events that ultimately led to the executions of the king in France. Though most people at that time did not anticipate this outcome. French society during late 18th century. The three estate. Before the revolution, the French people were divided into three groups. The first estate, which is known as the clergy, the second estate, the nobility, the third estate, common people, which include three categories. First category, big businessmen, merchant, court official, lawyer. Second category, peasants and artisans. Third category is small peasants, landless, labor, and servant. So this is the social setup of France before the French Revolution. First estate clergy, second estate nobility, third estate working people. Now, the way they are getting privileges or advantage or disadvantages. Social setup of France before revolution. First estate, which is known as clergy, enjoyed privileges by birth, exempted from paying taxes, and extracted taxes called tithe. So name of tax which is levied by clergy or first estate is tithes. The second estate nobility enjoyed feudal privileges, exempted from paying taxes, and extracted taxes called tally. So enjoyed feudal privileges means those who are giving land on rent and they are charging rent or from the peasants, feudal dues. Then the third estate, common people, they paid all the taxes. So burden of taxes become by the third estate. So this is the social setup of France before revolution, and that is one main reason of the French Revolution later on. The struggle to survive. The population of France rose from about 23 million in 1715 to 28 million in 1789. This led to a rapid increase in the demand for food grains. Production of grain could not keep pace with the demand, so the price of bread, which was the staple diet of the majority of people, rose rapidly. Most workers were employed as a labor in workshop whose owner fixed their wages, but wages did not pace with the rise in price. So the gap between the poor and the rich widened. Things became worse whenever drought or hail reduced the harvest. This led to a subsistence crisis, An extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are endangered is known as subsistence crisis, something that occurred frequently in France during the old regime. Thank you and have a nice day.